Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Tally and today I will be doing the mid-year book tag. Got tagged by The Perks of Books here on BookTube, and you guys should go definitely check out her channel if you haven't yet. She has really cool videos of different book reviews on different books, and she's a huge fan of Stephen King as well. Thank you for tagging me. I've never gotten tagged on BookTube before, so I'm pretty excited. Let's go ahead and do the questions. So the first one is best book you've read so far in 2020. And this one's an easy one. It's basically a book that put me through so many emotions since from the beginning all the way to the end. So I really loved The Green Mile by Stephen King. I really loved this story. It made me cry in the ending. That's one of the reasons why it's the best book that I've read, and also because I really connected to the characters and the whole plot of the story. I think that Stephen King did such an incredible job at just portraying each character and in the story, which was very, very descriptive and very emotional, and it's just a story that is so powerful and you become attached to each character. So this one is the best book that I've read for the year 2020. The second question is best sequel you've read so far in 2020, and there are a lot. They're mostly trilogies. But I'm gonna go with the Infernal Devices series. The first one being Clockwork Angel, and the next one is Clockwork Prince. I devoured these series in like a whole week, each book, and they're just so amazing to read. Just books that you keep changing the pages and you stay up until 5 a.m. to finish them because they're just so good, and the characters are so lovely, and especially because of the love triangle. It's definitely a book you need to read if you haven't yet. The third question is new release you haven't read yet but want to. That is My Dark Vanessa. I've been hearing about that book everywhere, and it is by Kate Elizabeth Russell, and this one is a fiction contemporary book. It's just exploring the psychological dynamics of the relationship between a teenage girl and her manipulative teacher. It alternates between her present and her past. She discovers the power of her own body, and it was published on March 10th of this year, so I'm really hoping that I can read that one. Another new release that I want to read that I haven't read yet is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and this is by Roseanne A. Brown, and it is a fantasy duology inspired by West African folklore in which a grieving crown princess and a desperate refugee find themselves on a collision course to murder each other despite their growing attraction. This is a fantasy young adult, and it was published on June 2nd, so it has maybe around 2 weeks, so I'm really hoping to read that one as well. I have a lot of books that I want to read that were just released, so this is going to be a long list, and I do want to talk about it on here. Another one is If It Bleeds by Stephen King. Obviously I can't leave my favorite author behind, right? But it's horror fiction, and it contains a collection of short stories from Mr. Harrigan's Phone, The Life of Chuck, Rat, and the title of the story, If It Bleeds, and it was published on April 21st. I actually put it on my Amazon cart, but I then decided that I can wait until it's released, but then they ran out and I never got to purchase it again. So hopefully I can purchase it soon. Right now I'm not really wasting any money on new books because I have a lot on my shelf that I haven't read. I'm banned from purchasing new books, so I can't purchase any books right now. Another one is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. It's the first book of the Lost Hour series, and it is a fantasy YA. It is about the shadow hunters of Edwardian London, and for years there has been peace in the shadow hunter world. James and Lucy Herondale, children of the famous Will and Tessa, have grown up in an idyll with our loving friends and family, listening to stories of good defeating evil and love conquering all. But everything changes when the Blackthorne and Carstairs families come to London, and so does a remorseless and inescapable plague. I'm so excited! I can't wait to get my hands on Chain of Gold. It was released on March 3rd, so I really love the Infernal Devices series, and I can't wait to read about Will and Tessa's children. I also want to read What It Seems by Emily Bleeker. One was released on March 17th, and it is a thriller and a mystery. I read all kinds of genres, so I'm gonna be stating a lot of different genres. I read her book When I'm Gone and I really enjoyed it, but this one, What It Seems, is about a girl who is adopted to her controlling foster mother at the age of 8. She is 20 years old now and she has seen little of the outside world, and she is lonely. Her only distraction comes from watching the Philly family's online videos. So she is daring to run away and defy her mother's rules, and she wants to claim a life of her own, but to do that she needs a new escape plan. Another one is H. Read by Emily Henry. It's a romance contemporary fiction, and it is a romance writer who no longer believes in love. Question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This one is another exciting question because there are a lot of books that I want to read that will be released soon. Is that what the question answers? I'm not really sure. I don't know. I want to read Mexican Gothic, which will be released on June 30th by Silvia, Moreno, Garcia. I really want to read this one. This is a historical fiction, terrifying twist on classic Gothic horror, and is set in Mexico, the year 1950. After receiving a frantic letter from her newlywed cousin begging for someone to save her from a mysterious doom, Naomi heads to High Place, a distant house in the Mexican countryside. She's not sure what she will find. Her cousin's husband, a handsome Englishman, is a stranger, and Naomi knows little about the region. It sounds very mysterious. The other one is Midnight Sun, the 5th book of the Twilight series, which is going to be in the perspective of Edward. And who does not want to read that book? Honestly, I do. You do, but I'm excited. I don't care. I love the Twilight series. Movies can be a little bit cringe, but I'm really hoping to read Midnight Sun. I actually already ordered it. It's only $17 right now on Amazon. It went from $20 down to $17. I don't know if a lot of people are not buying it, so that's weird. I don't know. Number 5, biggest disappointment. And this is basically the first book that I have DNF'd for the year, and it is The Beautiful by RENEE ADIEH. And I don't know, it's just a book that I started reading and didn't really know anything about it. I just knew that there was a romance between 2 characters, but I feel like when I started reading it, I really wasn't connecting to the characters or the whole storyline of the book. And it's just, the dialogue is kind of confusing, and the point of view of the characters are kind of confusing. Let me know if I should finish it. What were your thoughts on this book? But it was a really disappointment for me because I was really expecting to like it. A serial killer who is on the loose and he is killing girls. I have talked about it on one of my books, but I'm not going to elaborate too much on it. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. Number 6, biggest surprise. Okay. I just made a video on this book, and it is The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. This was a big surprise for me because a lot of people hated this book. A lot of people don't want to read it because it's from the perspective of President Snow. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read it with the intention of loving the book without even thinking that I know President Snow and that I know that I hate this guy. And it was a big surprise. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much about the Hunger Games 64 years before of the real events from Peeta and Katniss. So yeah, that was a big surprise for me. The next question, favorite new author. Cassandra Clare. She became one of my favorite authors because of the Infernal Devices series. She's a great writer. You see that her writing improved because I think she released the Mortal Instruments first. And the Infernal Devices series, the writing is amazing. Okay, next question. Newest fictional crush? Gem from the Infernal Devices series. And also Sejanus from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. He just nice and caring. That made you cry. Okay, the first one is called Uva by FREDERIK BACKMAN. Right from the beginning it made me tear up and it made me really emotional because of what Uva is going through in the beginning and why he's the person that he is. People call him the grumpiest man alive because he has strict routines, he has a short fuse, and people think that he's bitter. He thinks himself he's surrounded by idiots, but then he meets some of his neighbors who he's very mean to at first, and then eventually they develop a really nice relationship, which in the end it made me really cry because of how it ended and what became of this character, Uva. Very irresistible novel of a angry old man that you really fall in love with and you care about throughout the story. I really recommend you guys reading this one. It's a very short and fast-paced book. I read it in one day. You will definitely cry if you read this one. Another one that made me cry is A Little Life by YANAGIHARA, and I'm not gonna talk too much about this one because I already did. We have 4 more questions. Okay, number 12. Most beautiful book we've bought so far this year. I know which one it is. That one is Call Me By Your Name by ACIMAN, and this is, oh, I just love the cover. It's just so beautiful, and these 2 amazing characters which I fell in love with, and they do such an incredible job on the movie. Timothée Chalamet, who doesn't love this beautiful cover? Did I skip a question? No, just kidding. No, I didn't. Just kidding. Okay, yeah, I skipped a question. Number 11, a book that made you happy, and that is Mockingjay. It made me happy. The ending was amazing, and it made me super happy of how all the characters ended and how the story ended. So it's just a journey that you go through once you start reading The Hunger Games. You become involved in. So this one is a book that made me happy. Number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? This is a long list. I have more, but these are just some that I want to talk about really fast. And they are Salem's Lot by Stephen King. The synopsis reminds me kind of like The Shining because it is about Ben who has returned to Jerusalem's Lot in the hopes that living in an old mansion along the subject of town lore will help him cast out his own devils and provide inspiration for his new book. So I've heard very good reviews on this one and I'm really excited to read it, and I hope that I can read it before the year ends. Okay. I also need to read This Is How It Always Is by LAURIE Frankel, and this is about Claude. He is 5 years old and he's the youngest of 5 brothers, and he loves peanut butter sandwiches. He also loves wearing a dress and he dreams of being a princess. When he grows up, Claude says he wants to be a girl, and Rosie and Pen, they want him to be whoever he wants to be, and they're just not sure they're ready to share that with the world. Soon the entire family is keeping his secret until one day it explodes, and I just feel like it's gonna be very emotional, and I'm really hoping to read it for the end of the year because it's been on my TBR way too long and it deserves to be read. So that's one of those. Okay, another one is Misery by Stephen King. I need to freaking read this one. Paul Sheldon, he's a writer. He killed off one of his protagonists from his beloved romance series in favor of expanding his creative horizons. One of his biggest fans of Paul Sheldon, she does not like the fact that the author killed this protagonist. She's very upset about what Paul did. He keeps him a prisoner in an isolated house, and she becomes very persuasive and violent to get exactly what she wants, and that is for him to put the protagonist back in the novel. Something we're gonna have to do with Stephen King because of Mr. Mercedes. Just kidding. Okay, we have, I also want to read The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. And this one, I bought it a long time ago and I just can't believe that I haven't read it. I've heard very good reviews. This is a thriller. When you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you are reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. This is a twisted and deliciously chilling The Wife Between Us. Deftly explores the hidden complexities of marriage and the dangerous truths we ignore in the name of love. Does that sound thrilling for you? Because it does sound thrilling for me. Okay. I also want to read Ghosts of Harvard by Francesca Ceritella. This one was released on May 2020. The last one is My Eyes Are Up Here. This is kind of like a body positivity character. She's tired of the attention, so she keeps to herself. She hides under an extra large sweatshirt because she's tired of the attention. But she is surrounded by a woman determined to show her that life doesn't have to be this way. Okay. Those are all the books, and then the last question is favorite book community members. Book of Books is one of my favorite booktubers because she has such a beautiful way of talking about books and reviewing them. Holly Reads, another one of my favorite booktubers. She's really nice. I'm really happy that I came across her channel. One is Cozy Bex. She's super nice as well. She also has really cool videos, so if you are not subscribed to her, please go subscribe. I really loved her new video, the First Sentence Challenge. I think that was very fun. So you guys, one of my other favorites is Aura Books. I love her personality. She's very nice and she has very cool videos as well. She has really cool ideas. I just recently watched one of her videos of how she annotates her books. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!